Welcome back to the deep dive. I'm Anna.
And I'm Eric. Today we're digging into a topic that's quietly reshaping how life sciences companies think about compliance, quality, and operational control: AI-enhanced quality management systems.
Quality systems have always been the backbone of regulated industries. Whether you're in pharma, biotech, medical devices, or diagnostics, your QMS is what ties everything together. Documentation, deviations, CAPAs, audits, supplier oversight, training. It's how organizations demonstrate control and consistency.
But the reality is, traditional QMS models were built for a very different era.
Exactly. Most quality systems today are still heavily manual, reactive, and document centric. Teams spend countless hours chasing deviations, updating SOPs, managing audit findings, and trying to spot trends after issues have already happened. And as companies scale, especially globally, that complexity multiplies fast.
That's where AI starts to change the conversation.
Instead of quality being something you check after the fact, AI opens the door to quality systems that are predictive, adaptive, and continuously learning. We're talking about systems that don't just store data, but actively analyze it, connect it, and surface risk before it turns into a regulatory problem.
And that shift couldn't be happening at a more important time. Regulatory expectations are rising across the board. FDA inspections are more data-driven. The EMA is emphasizing life cycle quality oversight. ISO standards are evolving, and companies are being asked not just to show compliance, but to demonstrate control, resilience, and maturity.
At the same time, the volume of quality data is exploding.
Every deviation, change control, complaint, audit observation, batch record, supplier scorecard, training record, all of it creates data. But most organizations struggle to actually use that data in a meaningful way. It lives in silos, it's reviewed retrospectively, and insights are often missed until an inspection forces the issue.
AI-enhanced QMS changes that dynamic. Instead of reviewing deviations one by one, AI can analyze patterns across thousands of records. It can flag recurring root causes, identify process drift, and highlight areas where risk is quietly accumulating. That's not replacing quality professionals, it's giving them better visibility and better decision support.
And that's a key point we need to be very clear about. AI in quality systems is not about removing human judgment. Regulators are not asking for black box compliance, and neither are companies.
AI is about augmenting expertise, not replacing it.
Think about CAPA management. Traditionally, CAPAs are triggered after a deviation or audit finding, and effectiveness checks happen months later. With AI, systems can monitor CAPA performance in near real time, tracking whether similar issues are still occurring, whether corrective actions are actually reducing risk, and whether escalation is needed sooner.
The same applies to change management. AI enabled QMS platforms can analyze historical change data to predict which changes are most likely to trigger downstream issues, whether that's supplier changes, equipment modifications, or software updates.
That's a huge shift from reactive compliance to proactive quality governance.
And regulators are paying attention. While agencies like the FDA aren't issuing AI-QMS guidance yet, they are signaling strong expectations around data integrity, trend analysis, and risk-based decision making. AI aligns very naturally with those goals as long as it's implemented transparently and responsibly.
One area where we're already seeing real momentum is audit readiness. Instead of scrambling before an inspection, AI-enabled systems can continuously assess audit risk. They can flag overdue actions, identify sites or processes with rising deviation rates, and even simulate inspection scenarios based on historical findings. That allows quality teams to prioritize resources where they matter most.
And it changes the inspection conversation entirely. Instead of reacting defensively, companies can walk into inspections with confidence, backed by real time metrics and documented oversight. That's powerful, not just for regulators, but for internal leadership as well.
Another major application is supplier quality management.
Supplier risk has become one of the biggest challenges in global life sciences operations. AI can analyze supplier performance trends across delivery, deviations, audit outcomes, and complaints to dynamically score risk instead of relying on static annual reviews.
That means quality teams can intervene earlier, strengthen controls, or diversify suppliers before problems escalate.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room: trust.
Quality systems are high stakes environments. A wrong signal, a missed trend, or an unexplained decision can have serious regulatory consequences. That's why explainability is critical. Regulators and quality leaders need to understand how conclusions are reached, what data was used, and where human oversight comes into play.
And this is where governance matters. AI-enhanced QMS doesn't start with algorithms. It starts with data integrity, process discipline, and strong quality foundations. If your SOPs are outdated, your deviation records are inconsistent, or your training data is incomplete, AI won't fix that, it will amplify it.
That's why successful implementation is less about technology and more about readiness.
Companies that are getting this right are taking a phased approach. They're starting with limited use cases like trend analysis or audit prioritization, validating performance, documenting controls, and engaging regulators early when appropriate.
They're also investing in training. Quality professionals need to understand how AI tools work, how to interpret outputs, and when to challenge them. That human in the loop model is exactly what regulators want to see.
And there's another benefit here that doesn't get talked about enough: workforce sustainability.
Quality teams are under enormous pressure. Talent shortages, growing workloads, and increasing regulatory scrutiny are leading to burnout across the industry. AI can help offload repetitive administrative work so teams can focus on high value activities, investigation, decision making, and continuous improvement.
That's not just good for compliance, it's good for retention and organizational resilience. So, when we talk about AI enhanced quality systems, we're really talking about a new philosophy of compliance, one that's proactive instead of reactive, integrated instead of siloed, and risk based instead of checkbox driven.
In the next part of this conversation, we'll dig deeper into what regulators are expecting, where companies are getting tripped up, and how organizations can responsibly adopt AI without creating new compliance risks.
Because the future of QMS isn't just digital, it's intelligent.
And the companies that understand that shift early will be the ones setting the standard, not scrambling to catch up.
As we look at how AI enhanced quality systems are actually being implemented, one of the biggest shifts is how organizations think about risk. Traditionally, risk management in a QMS has been largely static. You conduct risk assessments at specific points in time, during process validation, design controls, supplier qualification, and then you revisit them periodically, often annually, or after an issue occurs.
AI changes that by making risk dynamic. Instead of a snapshot, risk becomes something that's continuously evaluated. An AI-enabled QMS can monitor deviations, complaints, nonconformances, and audit findings in real time, constantly recalculating where the highest risk areas are. That means quality leaders don't have to wait for quarterly reviews or inspection prep cycles to know where attention is needed.
And this is especially critical for complex organizations with multiple sites, products, or regulatory jurisdictions. Global companies often struggle to see risk holistically because data lives in different systems, formatted in different ways, owned by different teams. AI excels at connecting those dots.
For example, imagine a company with manufacturing sites in the US, Europe, and Asia. A traditional QMS might track deviations locally with limited cross-site visibility. An AI-enhanced system can detect that similar deviations are occurring across multiple sites, tied to the same raw material supplier or process step, even if each site logged the issue differently.
That's the kind of insight that's very hard to spot manually and incredibly valuable from a regulatory perspective.
Because regulators aren't just looking at individual events anymore. They're looking at systemic control.
FDA inspectors, for instance, increasingly expect companies to understand trends across their operations. If similar issues appear repeatedly, even if they're individually minor, that raises questions about root cause analysis, management oversight, and quality culture. AI can help surface those patterns early before they become inspection findings.
Another area where AI is having a big impact is document control and SOP management. Most quality teams know the pain of maintaining SOPs across a growing organization. Documents get outdated. Changes ripple across multiple procedures. Training records lag behind revisions. And during inspections, it becomes difficult to prove that the right people were trained on the right version at the right time.
AI enabled document management systems can analyze document usage, change frequency, and training completion to flag where documentation risk is building. If an SOP is frequently referenced in deviations, that might indicate unclear instructions. If training completion drops after certain updates, that's a signal worth investigating.
This moves document control from a passive repository to an active quality tool. And that ties directly into data integrity, which remains one of the most scrutinized areas in inspections worldwide.
AI can support data integrity by continuously monitoring system access, audit trails, and anomalous activity. Instead of relying solely on periodic reviews, systems can flag unusual patterns like repeated data edits, delayed entries, or inconsistent timestamps for human review.
Again, the goal isn't automation for automation's sake, it's visibility. But with all of this potential comes responsibility. Regulators are very clear that accountability cannot be delegated to an algorithm. The company remains responsible for decisions, outcomes, and compliance, regardless of how advanced the technology is.
That's why governance frameworks are becoming a critical part of AI-enhanced QMS adoption.
Strong governance means clearly defining where AI is used, what decisions it supports, what decisions remain fully human, and how outputs are validated. It also means documenting those boundaries. Because if a regulator asks how a quality decision was made, the system said so is not an acceptable answer.
Companies need to be able to explain the logic, the data inputs, and the controls around AI driven insights.
And this is where regulatory strategy intersects with quality strategy.
Forward thinking organizations are engaging regulators early, not to seek approval for AI tools, but to align expectations. Sharing how AI supports trend analysis or risk prioritization while emphasizing human oversight builds trust. It shows that technology is being used to strengthen compliance, not bypass it.
We're also seeing AI play a growing role in post market surveillance and complaint handling, especially for medical device and combination product companies.
Complaint data is often unstructured, inconsistent, and high volume. Natural language processing allows AI systems to categorize complaints, identify emerging safety signals, and escalate potential issues faster than manual review alone. That speed matters, not just for regulatory reporting timelines, but for patient safety.
And importantly, AI can help reduce false positives by learning over time which complaint patterns are truly meaningful versus noise. That allows quality teams to focus their attention where it matters most.
But adoption isn't without challenges. One of the biggest hurdles is data readiness. Many organizations want advanced analytics, but their underlying data isn't standardized or clean enough to support it. Inconsistent terminology, incomplete records, and disconnected systems limit what AI can reliably do.
That's why the most successful implementations start with foundational work, harmonizing processes, standardizing data fields, cleaning historical records, and strengthening quality discipline.
In many cases, AI becomes the catalyst for improving core quality maturity.
Another challenge is change management. Quality teams are understandably cautious. Compliance has always been an area where deviation from established processes feels risky. Introducing AI can raise concerns about job security, accountability, and regulatory perception.
Addressing that requires transparency and training.
Teams need to understand what the technology does, what it doesn't do, and how it supports their expertise. When AI is positioned as a decision support tool rather than a decision maker, adoption tends to be much smoother.
There's also a generational aspect here. As more digitally native professionals enter quality roles, expectations are changing. New hires are often surprised by how manual and fragmented traditional QMS environments are. AI enhanced systems align better with how the next generation expects to work: data driven, integrated, and efficient.
From a business perspective, the benefits extend beyond compliance. Companies with more mature quality systems tend to move faster. They can onboard new products more efficiently, scale operations with fewer surprises, and respond to regulatory changes more confidently. AI amplifies those advantages by reducing friction and improving foresight.
And that's where quality stops being viewed as a cost center and starts being recognized as a strategic asset.
In the final part of this conversation, we'll bring it all together, looking at what companies need to do today to prepare for AI-enhanced QMS adoption, where regulators are headed next, and how organizations can balance innovation with trust.
Because the next evolution of quality systems isn't just about meeting requirements, it's about building resilient, intelligent frameworks that can support growth in an increasingly complex regulatory world.
When companies start thinking seriously about AI-enhanced quality systems, one of the most important questions they face is not what the technology can do, but where it should be applied first. Trying to automate everything at once almost always backfires. The organizations that see real value tend to be very intentional about their starting point.
Most begin with areas that are already data rich and operationally heavy. Deviation management is a common entry point. Large organizations can generate thousands of deviations each year, and while each one is reviewed, the real insight often lives in the patterns across them. I can analyze deviation narratives, timelines, corrective actions, and outcomes to highlight recurring themes that might otherwise remain buried.
For example, an AI system might identify that a certain deviation type spikes after specific shift changes, equipment maintenance events, or supplier deliveries. That kind of insight goes beyond compliance and into operational excellence. It helps teams move from reactive fixes to proactive prevention.
CAPA systems are another natural area for AI integration. Historically, CAPAs have been one of the most cited inspection issues across FDA, EMA, and other global regulators. The problem isn't usually that companies fail to open CAPAs, it's that CAPAs are poorly scoped, slow to close, or ineffective over time.
AI-enhanced QMS platforms can assess CAPA quality by evaluating factors like recurrence, time to closure, and linkage to root causes. If a CAPA repeatedly addresses symptoms instead of underlying issues, the system can flag that trend for review. This helps quality leaders focus not just on closing actions, but on ensuring they actually work.
Audit readiness is another area where AI is starting to change the game.
Traditionally, inspection prep is a high-stress, resource-intensive effort. Teams scramble to gather records, verify training, reconcile documentation, and address open issues. AI-enabled systems can continuously assess inspection readiness by monitoring documentation completeness, training gaps, overdue actions, and historical inspection trends.
Instead of preparing for audits as discrete events, organizations can operate in a state of ongoing readiness. That shift alone can significantly reduce compliance risk and operational disruption.
From a regulatory standpoint, this aligns closely with how agencies think about quality maturity. Programs like the FDA's Quality Management Maturity Initiative emphasize consistency, predictability, and continuous improvement. AI doesn't replace those principles, but it helps operationalize them.
Another critical dimension of AI enhanced QMS is supplier quality management. Global supply chains are more complex than ever, and supplier related issues remain a major source of quality risk. AI can integrate supplier performance data, audit outcomes, deviation history, and change notifications to provide a more nuanced view of supplier risk.
Rather than treating all suppliers the same, companies can prioritize oversight based on real-time risk indicators. That allows for smarter audits, targeted monitoring, and more resilient supply chains.
This is especially relevant as companies expand into new regions or bring manufacturing closer to home through reshoring initiatives. As supply networks evolve, having intelligent systems that adapt alongside them becomes essential.
But as AI becomes more embedded in quality systems, questions around validation become unavoidable.
Validation remains a cornerstone of compliance. Any system that impacts product quality or regulatory decision making must be validated appropriately. AI introduces new complexity here because models can evolve over time.
Regulators are increasingly focused on how companies validate AI enabled systems not just at implementation, but throughout their life cycle. That includes documenting training data, defining acceptable performance ranges, monitoring model drift, and ensuring controlled updates.
In practice, this means companies need clear validation strategies that account for both static and adaptive elements of AI. Not every model update requires full revalidation, but every update does require governance, documentation, and risk assessment.
This is an area where quality, IT, regulatory, and data science teams must work together. AI-enhanced QMS adoption cannot succeed in silos.
Cybersecurity also plays a role here. As quality systems become more interconnected and cloud based, protecting data integrity and access becomes even more critical. AI tools must operate within secure, compliant infrastructures that meet regulatory expectations for electronic records and signatures.
Another factor shaping adoption is global regulatory alignment. While the FDA has been vocal about its interest in advanced analytics and AI, other agencies are moving at different speeds. The EMA, MHRA, and PMDA are all exploring how AI fits into quality oversight, but expectations are not fully harmonized.
For multinational organizations, this means AI enhanced QMS strategies must be flexible enough to meet varying regulatory interpretations. Transparency, documentation, and human oversight remain the common denominators across regions.
What's becoming clear is that regulators are less concerned about whether AI is used and more concerned about how it's used. Systems that enhance visibility, strengthen controls, and support better decision making are generally viewed positively. Systems that obscure accountability or introduce unexplainable logic raise red flags.
That distinction matters. And it underscores why AI should be framed as an enabler of quality culture, not a shortcut around it.
A strong quality culture is still built on leadership engagement, clear accountability, and empowered teams. AI can surface insights, but it cannot replace judgment, ethics, or responsibility.
Interestingly, many organizations report that AI enhanced QMS tools actually strengthen quality culture. By reducing administrative burden, teams have more time to focus on root cause analysis, continuous improvement, and cross functional collaboration. Instead of chasing paperwork, they can engage more deeply with the work that truly protects patients.
There's also a competitive dimension emerging. As AI enhanced quality systems become more common, they may begin to differentiate companies in the eyes of regulators, partners, and investors. Organizations that demonstrate strong data driven quality management may be perceived as lower risk, more reliable, and better positioned for growth.
This is especially relevant for companies pursuing acquisitions, partnerships, or global expansion. A mature, intelligent QMS can accelerate due diligence, reduce integration risk, and support smoother regulatory interactions.
Looking ahead, the trajectory is clear. Quality systems are becoming more connected, more predictive, and more integrated with broader business operations. AI is not a standalone feature, it's becoming part of the quality infrastructure itself.
The companies that succeed will be those that approach AI enhanced QMS adoption thoughtfully. They'll invest in data foundations, governance frameworks, and workforce readiness. They'll engage regulators early and document decisions carefully. And they'll view AI not as a compliance risk, but as a compliance strength when implemented correctly.
Now, we'll bring this conversation home by talking about what organizations should prioritize right now, how to avoid common pitfalls, and what the next few years are likely to bring as AI and quality systems continue to evolve together.
The companies that succeed will be those that approach AI enhanced QMS adoption thoughtfully. They'll invest in data foundations, governance frameworks, and workforce readiness. They'll engage regulators early and document decisions carefully. And they'll view AI not as a compliance risk, but as a compliance strength when implemented correctly.
So, what should organizations actually prioritize right now?
First, start with the fundamentals. Before layering AI onto a quality system, companies need to be honest about their current state. Are deviation records consistent? Are CAPAs closed on time and tied to real root causes? Is data standardized across systems? AI does not fix broken processes. It amplifies whatever already exists, are good or bad. Strengthening the core QMS is the prerequisite to any successful AI strategy.
Second, governance matters just as much as technology. Organizations should define clear ownership for AI supported quality tools, including who validates models, who reviews outputs, and how changes are controlled over time. Regulators will expect to see not just that AI is being used, but that it is being managed within a documented, auditable framework. That includes validation strategies, performance monitoring, and clear escalation paths when outputs raise concerns.
Third, people cannot be an afterthought. Quality professionals need training not just on how to use new tools, but on how to interpret them. They need to understand when to trust AI insights, when to challenge them, and how to document decisions appropriately. The strongest organizations treat AI as a decision support system, not a decision maker, and empower their teams to stay firmly in control.
Another common pitfall to avoid is trying to do too much at once. AI-enhanced QMS adoption works best when it starts with clearly defined, high-value use cases. That might be trend analysis for deviations, risk-based audit planning, or complaint signal detection. Starting small allows teams to validate assumptions, build confidence, and demonstrate value before expanding into more complex applications.
It's also critical to engage regulators early. While there is no single global framework for AI and quality systems yet, agencies have consistently signaled that transparency, explainability, and control are non negotiable. Early dialogue helps ensure alignment and reduces the risk of surprises during inspections. It also positions organizations as proactive and responsible rather than reactive.
Looking ahead, the evolution of AI-enhanced QMS is only going to accelerate. As data integration improves and regulatory expectations mature, quality systems will become more predictive, more connected, and more central to business strategy. We'll see tighter links between quality, manufacturing, supply chain, and even financial planning, all driven by shared data and risk intelligence.
At the same time, scrutiny will increase. Regulators will expect organizations to use data effectively, not just collect it. They'll ask why signals weren't detected earlier, why trends weren't addressed sooner, and how systems support continuous improvement. AI won't lower the bar for compliance. It will raise expectations for insight and accountability.
The opportunity here is significant. When implemented responsibly, AI-enhanced quality systems can reduce manual burden, surface risks earlier, and support better decision-making across the organization. They can help quality teams shift from reactive compliance to proactive leadership, and ultimately they can strengthen patient safety while enabling faster, more confident growth.
This is exactly where thoughtful strategy makes the difference. AI is not a plug and play solution. It requires alignment between technology, process, people, and regulation. Organizations that recognize that and invest accordingly will be far better positioned for the next phase of regulatory evolution.
At Emma International, this is the approach we take with our clients. We help life sciences organizations assess readiness, strengthen quality foundations, and integrate advanced tools in ways that align with regulatory expectations and long-term business goals. Whether you're exploring AI within your QMS or looking to modernize your quality infrastructure more broadly, the focus remains the same: clarity, control, and compliance.
As AI continues to reshape the quality landscape, the question isn't whether it will become part of QMS operations. It's how well it will be implemented, governed, and trusted.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll continue to explore the forces shaping quality, regulation, and innovation across the life sciences. Until next time, stay compliant, stay informed, and stay innovative.